The books you won't put down. Grab the House of Lazenberry series by author Daniel Webb. Since his controversial interview at the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast, the books can't stay on the shelf. Grab the series, The House of Lazenberry, The House of Lazenberry 1970H, and The House of Lazenberry, A Time to Heal. Link in the description box.
I wanted to talk to you about this, brother, because this was sitting on my mind. Real deep.
Right.
Because we do this media shit, man, and we have our ups and our downs, and we continue our journey. And when you look back at it, what an incredible journey it's been thus far, and it's continuing to get better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of those people at the top of that have to be the Breakfast Club. I remember when you were going through what you were going through, you were watching the Breakfast Club. I remember when I was going through what I was going through, I was watching the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And really kind of looking at that as my form of entertainment to get away from shit. These three personalities giving us content that we've never seen before. Pioneers in the game. They've done their thing. They deserve all the accolades in the world. But is it time, oh God, right? And there's a but, right? There's always some good shit. Then there's a but, bang, right there. To kind of start saying that the Breakfast Club is officially done. And this is what I mean by that. This is what I mean by that. I don't think that the Breakfast Club are going to shut its lights off for good. I don't think that. And I'll tell you why after we kind of start talking. But as it presently looks, with Charlamagne O'God, DJ Envy, formerly Angela Yee, the three of them, that format, I think it's done very, very soon.
Yeah.
And somebody that kind of put me on the Breakfast Club shortly after you started watching it. What do you think about that?
Nah, it's I think it's an inevitable part. It just only thing that's going to determine is how long you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kind of like a relationship. You can be with somebody, but somebody's going to pass away. Something's going to happen. You're going to break it. Whatever the case may be.
Right.
It's the same thing, with something like that. Look at all the iconic R&B groups.
Mm.
You ever thought Drew Hill was going to break up?
Nope.
You ever thought, these different, groups was going to, have riffs and have fights, and you never thought that when it was at their prime, it's like, this is going to be like this forever.
Right.
Even like Rockefeller, like this is 20, 30, 40 year dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
But things happen. They happen. And, I just think that they hit the pinnacle. Honestly, they hit the pinnacle of the podcast, the radio, the journalism, the guest. It's really nowhere to go but down. And that's not even a bad thing. It's almost like Mike.
Right.
Or, or your favorite, football player. Look at Tom Brady. Like, he hit the pinnacle, won all these championships. But that last year, it's just like, damn, you kind of go out on your sword. It don't make your accomplishments any less than what you did. But it's like, all right, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
It's time to retire. It's time to go on to something else. And I see that's where they're at. It can still be entertaining. It can still be this. It can still be that. But that essence, I think, is long gone of the go-to spot. Like every day they're going to be setting the trends of what's going on in hip-hop.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's on there, they got talking points that people are going to talk about. That's few and far in between now. That's maybe every month. You might get one or two different things that go on over there. So, but salute them because they're one of the people that gave me inspiration.
Absolutely.
Charlamagne and all them over there. It made me feel like, shit, I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, without them, it would be no this.
Yep.
So, salute to the Breakfast Club. But yeah, all good things come to an end. It's just like, what's going to be your legacy when you leave that?
Right. Yeah. And I think Charlamagne O'God and DJ Envy are graduating from that role. You know what I'm saying? We talked to Caesar maybe about a month or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
He about to have a show with Envy with 50 Cent producing it on Houses.
Right.
You got Charlamagne O'God have his own show. I think it's on Comedy Central. So you start looking at the various branches that are coming off this tree.
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to grow your own tree. You know what I'm saying? And start building more and more. But let's keep it 1,000, what's power without the Breakfast Club? Because when I drive to New York and I happen to go on the radio, I'm listening to Flex, bro. I'm listening to Hot 97.
Of course, all day.
I'm not listening to Power.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So without the Breakfast Club, what is power? So what I'm thinking, this is just my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got an opinion like an asshole. Everybody got one. I think the people that they have on as guests are auditioning as potential replacements of that show.
That's what it seems like.
Because they were supposed to be bringing on all these other different dynamics and all these people, but they're bringing on household names that people know. And trying to see the vibe and trying to see this and trying to see numbers maybe and looking at analytics and see which ones pop, which ones don't.
Yeah.
I think eventually once some contracts run out, and if I'm not mistaken, they're running out shortly, they're going to be replacing them brothers and we're going to see a whole different Breakfast Club. I don't see that going anywhere, but I see the personalities going, and then what does that do?
I never thought about like the aspect that it's going to have on the radio. station. I never really thought that deep into it, but that's deep.
Right.
Because if you look at even like all the people that came with there, the Angie Martinez, the Clues, and all the people that they were building with that, it was all because of the success of the Breakfast Club.
Yep.
Period. Point blank. You ain't getting around that.
Right.
So now, yeah, they got built up to a certain spot. But when you talk about like listening to the radio in New York City, nobody fucks with Ebro and Laura and them in the morning. That shit's garbage. But Flex and all the other DJs they got on there and riding through New York, and you ain't just got to hear the same old 18 bullshit ass songs that's playing every radio station. They playing local people. They playing old stuff. They playing R&B. They really mixing it up, kind of like Power 99 in Philly. Shout out to that station. They mixing it up for you. I don't know. It could spell the end of the reign in New York of Power, or whatever it's 10, whatever it is that they on. It could be the end of the reign.
You don't know what station it is. You can't type that shit in. You don't know, but we know 97.1.
Yeah.
Here's another thing, and this is where I think they're having a very critical flaw in what they're doing. When we heard SamAnt O'God, we knew him from Power 99 and Wendy Williams. We had an idea who he was.
Yep.
Envy from the mixtapes. Didn't know too much about Angela Yee, but we did remember some of Angela Yee's old interviews that she used to do back in the day. So we had a familiarity with her, but they were new.
Yeah.
They were raw. They were edgy. They were fresh.
Yeah.
They brought fresh content. People were going at them. It was dope. You bringing in these old carbon copy motherfuckers that's already done what they did and people already know them.
Yeah.
That's not the formula. That's like you redoing a movie from 20, 30 years ago. Nobody cares about that. Where's the other stuff? Where's the fresh stuff at? And they're keeping an eye off the fresh stuff and on this shit that's popular already. And I think they're going to fail because of it, man.
And I think that, like, if they were going to bring somebody in there, right, it would have to be somebody that not is exactly like them, but like the cutting edge, of media. Like, we coming in, we asking whatever. We kind of keeping that thing going on. Like, we don't give a fuck who you are. We're going to ask you this tough shit. And I think they kind of, over the years, watered themselves down in a certain, aspect of really trying to get the information. Like, Charlamagne's going to ask you. Yeah. Man, even if it means him getting punched in the face or threatened, Envy going to poke and pry. Right. Envy going to ask you about some sex shit or something like that, or bring something out. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. And I think that instead of looking for, which they probably are, people that's already in the industry, look for the next up and coming people that can sit in your seat. Look for the rookies. You ain't always got to go for the veterans in the game. It might be destroyed with the veterans in the game because they can't beat you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that kind of falls in line with everything we've watched throughout time. Look at sports. You rather have a vet quarterback, or you rather grab a rookie that you can build on your own and create something on yourself. Yep. It kind of just, you got to have that farm system where you build and develop talent. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Even like it's so many different things. You talk about movies, you talk about comedy, you talk about sports. We all want to kind of go back and rewind to the old time. Nah, where's the new talent? There's people out here that can do exactly what y'all doing. If it ain't on the radio, you can search on YouTube. You can search on podcasts. There's plenty of avenues right now where people are putting out their resumes to go, yo, let's try them out. Let's put them through the gauntlet. Let's see how people respond. Are they going to like them at first? Probably not, because they're new. Yeah. But let some shit start going down and seeing how they respond and start getting personalities kind of getting familiar with. And you might have something dope, but they won't. So, I mean, maybe they will after hearing this.
There's been a lot of carbon copies, though, man. That's the crazy part. Like, a lot of people try to emulate the Breakfast Club as far as, like, obviously outside, but on the radio. Right. And nobody was ever really able to get that formula of people. They all tried it. So it ain't going to be an easy thing, but we'll see.
We will, man. Indeed, indeed.